Before we get started, this episode of The Evergreen contains graphic descriptions of violence and focuses on a racist hate crime. Keep that in mind when choosing when and where to listen. We're at the intersection of Southeast 31st Avenue and Pine Street in Portland.
In November 1988, there was this intersection of three stories. The story of an Ethiopian immigrant trying to find work and the ability to take care of his family, the rise of this new hate group, the skinheads and in Portland East Side White Pride, and this adult white supremacist group, Tom Metzger's White Aryan Resistance. And it all came together in this spot on November 11th, 1988, that ended in the death of Mulugeta Seraw.
This is Randy Blazak. He's part of the Oregon Coalition Against Hate Crimes. He's telling the story of Mulugeta Seraw's murder as part of a group tour about civil rights issues in Portland, sponsored by the Fair Housing Council of Oregon. We're right in front of a small apartment complex near Laurelhurst Park. In the early hours of November 13th, 1988, Mulugeta Seraw was coming home from a going-away party. He had to work early the next morning, so two of his friends, who are also Ethiopian, drove him home. When they arrived at Mulugeta's apartment complex, where we're standing right now, they stayed in the car, talking for a bit. That's when...
Right around the corner, the skinheads pulled up and saw a car blocking the way.
The skinheads escalated to reported racial slurs.
It all happens right in the spot where I'm standing. Mulugeta, who's trying to stop the fight, has his back to Mieske, and that's when he's struck by the baseball bat.
It was dark, and the skinheads had been drinking all day. Things escalated really quickly, and the skinheads got physical. As Mulugeta tried to intervene, one of the skinheads, Ken Mieske, hit him in the head from behind with a bat, at least twice. He was left there, bleeding on the sidewalk. Mulugeta was pronounced dead at the hospital a few hours later. He was 28 years old. From the Gert Boyle Studio, I'm Jen Chavez, and this is The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB about the place you call home. Today, the story of Mulugeta Seraw, a young Ethiopian who changed Portland. His murder inspired a wave of anti-racist activism and required police to report hate crimes. OPB producers Nora Coley and Dan Evans take the story from here.
The year is 1988. The oddball mayor of Portland, Bud Clark, was running his campaign for re-election. The Oregon Food Bank established the Waterfront Blues Festival that turned into a beloved annual event. And the production trucks for a small indie film called Drugstore Cowboy were seen all around town. And Portland at the time was...
grimy and gritty.
It was gritty, but it was fun. You know, it was old Portland.
Downtown was very vibrant.
It was a good vibe. It was just much sleepier.
This is Tom Tegner, Jason, and China. We're not using Jason and China's last names due to the express concern for their personal safety. The three of them were into the punk music scene.
One of the go-to places was the Satyricon, an eclectic music venue in Portland's Old Town.
If you'd never walked into the Satyricon before and you weren't from that community, your eyes might bug out. It was dark, dingy, sometimes smelled the beer and urine. That was a lot of the nights in Satyricon were hot, sweaty nights from people moving around and gyrating and doing the mosh pit.
So I was like 8th and then 9th grade when I started getting into the scene and like sneaking out to go hang out at Satyricon, which was like a nightclub. You would just like hang out outside because you're a kid.
We get really rowdy, let off steam there, you know, jumping off the stage, getting in the pit, and just having, really, this is a good time.
This is Tom Tegner again. He's part of a group of anti-racist skinheads called Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice, or SHARPs. At the time, racist skinheads were becoming more visible nationwide and in Portland, and they were drawn to the aggression of the punk scene.
Portland became known as Skin City, a home for racist skinheads, and it sprang from the punk scene. That's the story we're going to tell you. But before we get into it, in this episode, we want to tell you about Mulugeta Seraw, who he was and why he came to the United States. I was 17 years old when I heard about Mulugeta Seraw.
The crime took place here on Southeast 31st early Sunday morning. 3 black men, all from Ethiopia, were sitting in this car talking. When one left to head for his apartment, another car pulled up. 3 young white men jumped out and began beating him.
Police say Mieske, Brewster, and Strasser are members of East Side White Pride, the most violent group of skinheads in Portland.
I started hanging out downtown when I was 12. It was the place to be for youth and young adults of all types and styles. We went to the same record shops, vintage stores, cafes, and public squares. I remember being on guard when I saw a skinhead youth because I was told some were racist and some were anti-racist, and I had a hard time telling them apart. My friends and I were always a little fearful, seeing them walking the same streets as us. Were these the ones that were going to hurt us? Until Mulugeta Seraw's murder, I hadn't paid much attention to violence in Portland. I was young enough to believe that even the racist skinheads weren't capable of killing. But my illusion was shattered when I learned hatred wasn't confined to my high school history books and southern states.
I grew up in eastern Washington. One of my earliest memories from childhood is my father telling me and my siblings, assembled around our kitchen table for dinner, that people who judge others by the color of their skin are ignorant. So my 10-year-old brain couldn't square the injustice of the news coming out of Portland that racist skinheads had murdered a black man. When I moved to Portland as an adult in 2012, I was surprised and dismayed that more people didn't know Mulugeta's story. Nora and I wanted to make sure that changed.
So if you could start with, tell us your name.
My name is Ingidao Berhanu.
Dan and I met up with the person who knew Mulugeta best in Portland, his uncle, Engida Berhanu. Mulugeta's story in Portland starts with his uncle. Let's take you back.
Yeah, I remember when Mulugeta born. I remember him as very sweet. As an uncle, I adored him. He adored me, you know.
Engida was particularly close to his nephew because Mulugeta's mother, Fetanesh, had raised Engida after their own mother died.
My mother died when I was 8. There were 4 of us. My older sister, Fetanesh, Mulugeta's mom. Then when our mother died, Fetanesh, my sister, became our mother by default because my father, until he remarries, she acted like our mother, took care of us.
Engida comes from a family of farmers in the highland area of Ethiopia. Unlike many Ethiopians who follow the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Engida and his family are members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
It's uncommon that Ethiopian families and the rural Ethiopian families send their children to school. But our community is different. My family, many generations ago, got introduced to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, to missionaries. So the missionaries came, established schools, clinics, things like that. They also introduced education. Our family is our community, the only community in the rural area was able to send their children to school, influenced by the Adventist missionaries. So I went to school there.
Engida went to work in the publishing house of the Seventh-day Adventists in the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, as a translator and editor. Then, when he came to the Pacific Northwest, he attended Walla Walla College. That's where a high school classmate of his from Ethiopia went to school. At Walla Walla, he studied journalism for his bachelor degree.
It was confusing very hard because I thought I knew English, but because I was already writing, reading, writing, translating, things like that. But when I came to this country, I tried to understand the people. It was difficult, especially they wouldn't understand me with my accent and things like that. And so it was difficult. I didn't have anybody to help me.
So Engeda worked and went to school at the same time. And after finishing his undergraduate studies, Engeda wanted to go back to Ethiopia.
But at that time, the country was in a really bad situation, civil war. My family didn't want me to come back. So the Ethiopian political situation was really difficult. There was a civil war going on. Haile Selassie was overthrown, the emperor, and then a military junta took power.
What Engeda is talking about is the 1974 overthrow of Haile Selassie after 44 years in power. He was overthrown by a Marxist military junta known as the Derg after failing to implement economic and political reforms. But famine, inflation, and civil unrest followed. The era from 1976 to 1978 became known as the Red Terror, when tens of thousands of people were killed.
Young people were being killed left and right. Bodies being thrown on the street, things like that. Awful at that time.
Engeda's family was afraid for his life. So instead of coming home, Engeda's father wrote to him, asking if he could instead bring his brothers and nephew to the United States.
That's why when Mulugeta and my brother corresponded with me finishing high school, and I sent all the right paperwork back to Ethiopia for them to come. My brother, unfortunately, wasn't able to complete for some reason, but Mulugeta did, and he came.
So Engeda sent Mulugeta a one-way ticket from Addis Ababa to Portland.
This was December 1980. He came. I went to the airport, Portland airport, picked him up. When I saw him, I couldn't believe what I saw because I knew him only as a child. Now he is a young man, 20 or 19, I think 20, and handsome, a lot of charm, smiles. It's just with charisma. And so wow, this is different. I didn't expect to see a young man like this. I knew him only as a child. Both of us was thrilled. I was so happy to see him. He was so happy to see me. He's the closest relative I had. We came, everybody else is just friends, so to him, that close relative to come here, especially my beloved sister's son, I was thrilled. I was more than happy.
Engeda taught Mulugeta how to drive, helped him find a job, and helped him set up his Social Security.
Like me, he was willing to do whatever job he finds. And he was very hardworking, honest. It wasn't hard really to help him because he was very eager to help himself.
The two of them, together in Portland, fell back into a comfortable family life. As bachelors, they were learning how to cook.
He's a better cook than I was, yeah. And just, enjoying each other, laughing, reminiscing about family back home, telling him about his sister, how much I loved her, and, he remembered her too.
Mulugeta quickly made friends his own age and became friends with older people in the Ethiopian community too. Engeda says he could get along with anybody, and everyone liked him.
It was easy to really have him as a brother, proud of him, introduced to everybody, And then how everybody complimented him, how nice, how polite, how hardworking he is, how happy he is. He always smiling. He always smile on his face. A beautiful smile. So I was proud to be his uncle.
Then, in February 1982, Engeda left Portland. He couldn't find a decent job here. He had just finished his master's degree and was still working as a janitor. So he went to the Bay Area. He had some friends there who told him there were plenty of jobs.
I asked Mulugeta if you want to come with me. He said, no, I don't want to come with you because I have my friends already here. I like it here. I have a job. I'm going to school. Don't worry, I can take care of myself. He said, okay. And then I left, and I wasn't worried because I know he's responsible. He's well liked, both at work, at school, with friends. So I wasn't worried. So I didn't give it a thought. Okay, that's your decision, but I need to go. So.
But they never lost contact. Engeda and Mulugeta would call each other often and even visit each other.
He comes a lot to the Bay Area, weddings, holidays, and things like that. I come once in a while, not as often as he did, but we never lost contact. Very close, yeah.
Coming up after a break, the moment that would change Engeda's life. Thanks for listening to The Evergreen, our podcast from OPB about the place you call home. If today's episode has piqued your interest, subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app, and we'll bring you new stories every Monday morning about the history and people that make the Pacific Northwest what it is today. You can also follow OPB on Instagram at OPB, or follow me directly at Jen Chavez OPB. That's Jen with 2 N's, and I'll keep you posted on what Team Evergreen is up to. And remember, this episode about Mulugeta Seraw, who he was and why his story matters, and all the great OPB reporting and storytelling you hear on this show is made possible by the support of many thousands of OPB members. Support our journalism by becoming an OPB sustaining member today at opb.org/pod. And now, back to the show.
It's Sunday, November 13th, 1988, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I was still asleep, and the phone rang. I picked it up, and a friend from here, Portland, said, his name was Zodu. I said, why do you call me this early, Zodu? I said, well, Mulugeta was in a fight, and he's badly hurt. He's in the hospital right now, he told me. I didn't understand because Mulugeta never gets into fight. I said, there must be wrong. Immediately, my wife and I decided we need to leave the first flight to Portland.
Engeda's friend picked him up from the airport. He, his wife, and 3-year-old daughter went straight to Emmanuel Hospital. The doctor met them at the door.
He told me, blurted, I'm sorry about your nephew. In Ethiopia, when somebody dies, you're very careful how you tell them. You don't tell them in the middle of the day. You wait until in the morning. You bring some of the friends and stay at the door, and somebody wakes up, the family goes, tell them, and then everybody comes in, be with you, so that you won't be by yourself. But to tell somebody at the door of the hospital, a relative, and just tell him your nephew died, that's unheard of. You don't do that in Ethiopia.
Everyone he knew in Portland was already there at the hospital.
Because they knew what happened, so it's just, a horrible feeling to have that. There is no understanding. Nobody can explain to me, how that could happen. It was a shock.
Engeda told us about the last time he saw Mulugeta alive. A couple of months before this moment in the hospital, Mulugeta had something to tell him.
He called me Gashe. In Ethiopia, you have a nickname for your older brother. You don't call them by their name. It's disrespectful. You have a disrespectful name. So he called me Gashe. Let me tell you something. I said, what? Well, I didn't tell you so far, but I have a son. What?
Mulugeta had been in a relationship with a young woman before he left Ethiopia.
The young lady got pregnant, and Mulugeta didn't even know it. And the child wasn't born. So he learned after he came here.
Was he scared you would disapprove of?
I don't know. Maybe he's so young. He was, I don't know why he didn't tell me. I didn't ask him why he didn't tell me. I just thought, that's good. That's cool, And then
His son's name is Henrik. Mulugeta was planning to bring him and his mother to the U.S. to live here.
Engeda wanted to find out exactly what happened. Why was his nephew killed in front of his home? He learned that Mulugeta went to a farewell party for a friend.
A friend is living for the east or somewhere, moving somewhere. So his brother threw a party for him. The Ethiopian community is small at that time. They went there, to have. That's an excuse to get together, maybe. They have a party there. They were, enjoying themselves.
Engeda says Mulugeta had to leave for work early in the morning.
He was driving for Avis, shuttle bus. So he has to go in the morning. So a friend offered him a ride.
Mulugeta lived in an apartment next to the apartment where one of the members of the neo-Nazi group East Side White Pride lived. As Mulugeta's friends were dropping him off at home, 3 members of East Side White Pride, Ken Mieske, Kyle Brewster, and Steven Strasser, were leaving a party with their girlfriends. The racist skinheads drove their car so that it was nose-to-nose with the car of the Ethiopians.
The white kids' car came in front of them, and then they were arguing, move your car, da-da-da-da. And then I heard, when Mulugeta heard the commotion, he was about to enter his apartment, came back to try to cool off the situation, tell them, everybody calm down, and, that's when it happened. Somebody hit him with a bat, behind him. His blind side, he didn't see him. He had no chance. He was trying to fight. Another guy was fighting him, and he was, protecting himself with that guy. So
Earlier in the day, the Eastside White Pride had been working with Dave Mazzella. He was a youth leader of the California-based White Aryan Resistance, also known as WAR. They were distributing white power leaflets in downtown Portland. After this,
I refused to see him because they told me his body, his head, and his face was so much damaged, and I didn't go.
Eldon Rosenthal is a former trial lawyer in Portland. He primarily did civil rights cases and co-led the civil trial against Tom Metzger and WAR.
There's some conflicting testimony. The version I'm going to give you is what I believe we proved to the jury, which was that Kyle Brewster looked up the street and said, there's some, then he used the N-word, let's go fuck them up. They got in the car. There was 3 skinheads and their girlfriends. The car was driven so that it was nose to nose with the car of the Ethiopians. Racial epithets came out of the car. Brewster, Strasser, and Mieske got out of the car, Mieske with the baseball bat. Mayhem ensued, and Mulugeta Seraw was brutally murdered by Mieske with the baseball bat. According to the testimony in the trial, Mieske actually picked the baseball bat up over his head like he was chopping wood and came down at least 2 times on Mulugeta's head, fatally fracturing his skull.
The killing of Mulugeta shocked the city and scared the Ethiopian community.
If it happened to him, it would happen to anybody who is black. And people come here to be safe. And then one of them be killed in America while trying, avoid being killed in Ethiopia, it just doesn't make sense.
Eleanor Langer is the author of 100 Little Hitlers, a book that focuses on Mulugeta Seraw and the rise of the neo-Nazi movement in America. She told Nora and me that there was disbelief that such a thing could happen in Portland.
That was a thread of newspaper headlines. If you go back and look at the newspaper headlines, they're amazed that a black man could be killed in Portland.
Portland has always taken the view, at least during my lifetime here, that we're this liberal bastion of civility, and it's kind of a fiction.
But racism has deep roots in Oregon. It began as a whites-only state. There were exclusionary laws designed to keep black people out of the region. Eleanor Langer said what was shocking then is commonplace now.
The posters, the rhetoric, just the very fact suddenly acknowledged of a white supremacist ideology, white nationalist ideology. It is really our daily news now. I mean, where don't we see it? It wasn't stopped. It grew, and it is growing. They are so close to power now, and probably closer than they've ever been.
All three of Mulugeta's killers pled guilty. Mieske was sentenced to life in prison for murder and died in the Oregon State Penitentiary in 2011. Brewster and Strasser were sentenced to 20 years for manslaughter. Brewster has since been documented at far-right rallies. Strasser's whereabouts are unknown, but he is believed to be in the Portland area. In 2018, the city of Portland dedicated street signs in Mulugeta's memory along 31st and Pine. Engeda remembers Mulugeta as a peacemaker.
His loss still hurts me, and I miss him. My life is less full because of I don't have him. I would like people to know that, and he's just full of life, and can't help like him, because he just can't, because he's so nice, so good. That's I want people to know about my nephew. I was the reason for him to come here. I'm glad he did. I wish he lived, but even in his death, he is doing a lot of good things like this. He is impacting the community, the world.
Think you'll get to see Mulugeta again in the next life or whatever you believe?
I think so, yeah.
How would you say that?
Glad to see you. Yeah. I live. I believe in afterlife and resurrection, all those things. I don't mean to be preachy, but I believe in that, and I think I will see him.
We went with Engeda to Mulugeta's gravesite. He's carrying a bouquet of flowers.
And Mulugeta, I always miss you. Everybody misses you. Rest in peace.
Next time on The Evergreen, how anti-racists fought to push neo-Nazis out of Portland.
We wanted vengeance for Mulugeta. I mean, I remember feeling so angry for him. We actually confronted the Nazis directly. They're not going to terrorize us. And I think that was a shift where we got we're about to get organized and start looking for them.
And how a lawsuit in Portland found a national white supremacist organization liable for murder.
You can see Nora Coley and Dan Evans' documentary about Mulugeta Seraw at opb.org. We've also linked to it in our show notes. Thanks for listening to The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB. Mia Estrada produced this episode, and our technical director is Stephen Cray. Layla Isbell engineered the episode. The OPB podcast team also includes Julie Sabatier and Sage Van Wing. Nora Coley and Dan Evans did the interviews you heard. The music in this episode is from Audio Network. And if you have a question for us, please reach out. Email us at theevergreen@opb.org. I'm Jen Chavez. Catch you later.